Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, October 17th, 2023. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. Give them a call today. The number is right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Fine. Wait, why?
Good.
What have you heard?
Yeah. Did you get yourself yesterday? It was National Bosses Day, and you're your own boss. So, did you buy
really?
yourself something?
No, but had I known that,
I would have bought myself something.
I would have got myself something. I'm not sure why this is. There we go, making that a little bigger. Good morning, Molly, and good morning. What's all right? See, we're a whole bunch of problems already. I don't understand
Take
why.
1 week off, and man.
Yeah, we'll have to get that fixed. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I literally only have one thing written down. So we were off last week, so we need to find out why you were off last week.
Okay.
Good morning. Okay, that's just really ticking me off now. That I have to every time. Really, I gotta. That's driving me nuts. All these comments when I come up, they come up like really, really tiny. Sorry. Good morning, Sharon and Taylor. Good morning, Ben and Fitzy. How do we educate the public that just cause you have automatic lights that you still have to physically turn your lights on for the brake lights to light up? Hey, we're starting right off with a question.
Yeah.
So before we get to sports stuff and why we were off last week, hey, if somebody asks a question, we'll answer it.
That's right. Good question. What's the fog this morning? It's still very foggy out now, even with the sun coming up. You have to have your automatic lights should turn on, but sometimes you're right. Sometimes brake lights turn on, sometimes they don't. So know your car, know how you turn your stuff on and off. And sometimes you have to turn it on, and we're just so used to everything being automatic. That's a very good point, Taylor. And I don't know the answer to that except turn on your lights when it's raining, it's foggy, it's dark, it's dusk. Lots of deer running at dusk. We've got to pay more attention going to and from work if we work a day shift. Lots of stuff going on. But, yeah, the fog is going to be because it gets warm and then it gets super cold, and we're going to see more fog over the next couple of days. So, yeah.
And some cars do. So I had a car once, and the lights came on. Exactly what Taylor's talking about. So I thought it was. And ironically, this is the last time I was ever pulled over because I typically don't commit crimes or do things illegal. Therefore, most of my interactions with cops are like this on a show. I was in Eau Claire. Holy cow, this was 20 years ago. And I bought a car for my brother, and oh, wow, sweet. The lights come on automatically. This is great, but she's 100% right. Or I apologize. I shouldn't have assumed. So Taylor is 100% right that the brake lights didn't, and I got pulled over. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought for sure, everything comes on. Now with my new Jeep, everything is on all the time. I mean, auto. So I think it depends on the vehicle.
Right. It does depend on the vehicle, but that's what I mean. You have to know your vehicle and know what turns on and off because it is. And with the fog, it's right.
Yeah. Well, I can't figure out this stupid thing.
Right. But Taylor's exactly right. Know your stuff.
Know your stuff.
How do we educate people? I wish we could educate people. Watch Dryden Wire. That's the only way you can
watch our show.
Right.
That's how.
You'll learn everything you want to know about right here.
Yep, exactly. So, again, I apologize. We're having some issues with our comments showing up really, really small. And I don't know why. I don't know what I did. And every time I move it, then this is taking me off. Hey, I think I fixed it. Good morning, Brian. And Brad, it's the tail lights that don't come on. Yeah, but again, depending on the vehicle. Like my new Jeep, it does. An older car, the tail lights didn't. Anyway.
So
hey, it's going to come.
Turn on.
Right. That's a good one. Very good. And we're going to need a lot more questions in the show because we literally have one thing to talk about. Before we get into why you were off last week and our only thing, I think, well, there it is. Officer-involved critical incident in Rice Lake under investigation. Unfortunately, that's one of those things we're probably not going to be able to talk a lot about. That was a news release from the DOJ. That's the only thing I've written down. So at some point, we're probably going to need some questions for people, or it's going to be a really short show. Dan, good morning from Seattle. What? Your dad's in Seattle?
Yeah,
I saw them
they're on
posting
their way
things.
home. Yeah.
That
They've
is
been living
awesome.
the life.
No kidding. I know. Like vicariously, I follow your mom just because I want to see it. Like that's how life is supposed to be lived.
You gotta enjoy it.
I love it. So instead of sports questions this morning, I just want to go through something. So I'm trying to get into hockey, and I'm trying really hard to like it. But of course, I don't like it. So I'm trying, but with Connor Bedard with the Chicago Blackhawks, that 18-year-old phenom.
Yeah.
I love box scores, as you know. I read box scores every morning on every sport except hockey. So I'm starting to, so I have some questions that I don't know what these things mean. So before we get anything serious,
And you think I'm an expert in hockey? I
well,
know
because
it's
your
your
son.
kid. That's it.
So here's just a few skaters on the Blackhawks. There's Connor Bedard. This is just last night's box score. Obviously, there's more players on here. I just grabbed the screenshot. So G, of course, means goals.
Correct.
A is assists.
Correct.
Now, plus minus. Plus minus, I believe, is, well, I'm sorry, you tell me. What is plus minus?
Well, minus is, I believe, and I don't know this, plus minus, coaches keep track of plus minus. If you're on the ice when a goal is scored and you're off the ice and you're on the ice when a goal is scored against you.
That's what I thought too. Okay. So I got those. Now, S, I'm assuming, is shots because that would make sense lining up Connor Bedard for, yeah, that makes sense. SM, I'm going to assume, is shots made, but not goals. Is that what SM is?
It might be, and that's the only count of goal if it hits the goalie. If it, you only count a shot if it's good. If the goalie wasn't there and it went in, that's where you can't count a shot. The goalie tips it and it's 5 feet above the
It
net.
still counts as a shot though, just not a shot, quote unquote, made, right?
Yeah, and then maybe in the NHL, no other. I don't know what SM means. Like we don't keep track of that in high school hockey or anything like that. We don't talk shots made. We just talk shots. So because then the SBS would be block shots. I'm guessing.
But this is for the offensive play. How do you block a? You could block a shot as a player.
No, well, maybe. I don't know. That's a good. I don't know the answer to those.
So, if we had Mike Schaefer on, maybe he'd be able to tell us. Okay, so we don't know what BS is. We're just going to assume it's block shots, but not 100% sure.
If you watch our hockey, it's whatever we say.
Yeah, there you go. PN, I'm going to assume that's penalties, but I don't know.
I think so.
So one penalty.
That would make sense because usually a penalty is 2 minutes, so that the guy had 2 PNs and then it
penalty in minutes.
Yep, and that's 4 minutes. So
okay. Yeah. And then HT is
no
that
idea.
Hits maybe?
It could be hits.
See, I didn't know they tracked that. So this is all different from I
didn't know either. But think about that guy tracking all that stuff, man. I didn't know. I've never looked at a box score of hockey except you look at goals and saves and shots. Usually, that's what I look at.
Yeah, and if you look at their stats, just a player's stats, it makes a lot more sense. Oh,
that's good.
All right, I'm gonna have to ban him here real quick. Where is that button?
He was at the open wild
okay,
game. I was in Vegas for I didn't go to the game, but I should have. The Vegas Knights brought the Stanley Cup home, and I happened to be in Vegas that night.
Which is where you were last week, which we'll get to in a second. We're almost finished. So TK, dude, I got nothing.
I got nothing. TK.
The center got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Hits TK knockout? No, not knockout. I think Grant's boxing.
What's GV?
And GV, like TK and GV, I have no idea.
Now I gotta hope somebody knows. Somebody look it up on the internet for us.
Well, see, and I could have done all that, but I thought it'd be more fun. Because
Again,
I need to start learning this because even though I don't like watching hockey, doesn't mean I can't enjoy hockey. I just enjoy it by reading box scores and playing it on PS5 and looking at standings and all that. I just don't really enjoy watching hockey too much. So I just need to understand the box scores that I'm reading in the morning because I can't figure it out.
There's a lot in there. I'd have to be the stats guy, man. That's a lot of stats to keep on.
That'd be a great job. And if you're not paying attention, it's like, screw it. You got a GV. Nobody even knows what that is anyway, so screw it.
Takeaways. TK is takeaway.
What's a takeaway? Stealing it from?
Yeah.
Is that like a steal in the NBA?
Right. It'd be like a steal in the NBA, correct.
Interesting.
Like I think, and again, I'm biased. Jason, I think, is the amount of takeaways by a player. There you go.
Okay.
Giveaways. takeaways.
So see, now you're putting in the stat number like NBA basketball. Okay,
Yeah.
now I get it.
Giveaways. So I think Jason's very good at takeaways. He's got a long stick, a long stride, long arms, and I think he's very good at takeaways. No, they don't keep track of that in junior hockey, but
Well,
they
when
should.
you go to all the games, you should keep track just for him.
Yeah, I could never watch the game. He'd be like, "Is that a giveaway? A
Oh, right.
takeaway? A shot made? Is that a shot would have made? Is that
Yeah, no kidding. That would be difficult to do.
That'd be very difficult." And the
Yeah.
amount of stats in it, I don't even mean. Some of that's a little excessive, maybe.
There is, and there's even more. There's like 2 more columns, but those are the key ones that I was curious about. So, so you were off last week, and you just mentioned that you were in Vegas. So we'll get to that, and then our only article / press release that we have to even talk about, which is the officer-involved critical incident in Rice Lake. That's under investigation. We'll get to that in 15 seconds after word from Spooner Health.
Satisfaction surveys and in conversations with patients, they appreciate the fact that staff got to know them. Staff really took their preferences into account, and they just feel grateful that they are being cared for as a person.
To learn more about our services, visit spoonerhealth.com.
All right. So you were off last week, and I thought you were frozen there for a second. Yeah. You're just really intent. You just love watching that commercial with Mike Shaver.
I just missed him so much that week. You get to see it.
So you were off last week. You were in Vegas. What were you out there for? Was it for Jason? Was it for hockey?
No, it wasn't for hockey. It was for the technical college, Northwood Tech. I serve on their board of directors. It was the National Technical College Conference. I went out there. Our board presented. I'm a board member. So our president went out there. Our vice president of academic affairs and a couple other board members went to the national conference. I've gone for a few years here and there. Every other year probably, and went out there and learned a lot. It was actually a really good conference this year. Happens to be in Las Vegas. They move it around the country. I think it's speaking of my dad being in Seattle, I think it's in Seattle next year. So you go with technical colleges from around the country. It's a national conference, and it was held in Las Vegas, and went for 3 days out there to the meetings and came home. So
just 3 days.
Yeah.
When did you leave? Oopsie.
We left.
Sorry.
What?
No,
we left Monday
button,
night
everything
and
disappeared.
I came back Friday morning early.
Sure.
So.
Did you go to the casino?
I did. Well, I stayed at the casino, but I didn't gamble.
Everything is a casino. Like every hotel, the bottom floor is just
every
a casino. So technically, just about anywhere you stay.
I did go down to. I'd never been to Fremont Street. I went down to Fremont Street and walked around for a couple hours. That's the old Vegas, and they have like free concerts. It was like Wednesday night, and it was like a weekend. It was crazy how many people are in Vegas. It was interesting. I love the people watch, it was interesting. I had never been to Fremont Street, so I did that.
Did Holly go with you?
Holly did go. She got to go and relax, and
nice,
and that was good. So she got some time off from work and got to relax, and I flew out of Eau Claire, which was really interesting. They have nonstop flights. Yeah, Eau Claire to Vegas nonstop, really good prices.
What did you give me the price or ballpark? Well, that's fine. I mean, people can just Google it.
$150, $160 a person round trip.
What?
Yeah, out of Eau Claire, they have TSA is the same, but you get there about an hour. They don't even open for an hour and a half before the flight. So, I mean, you don't got to get there 2 hours early. Great flight, Sun Country out of Eau Claire.
I lived right next to, literally a kitty corner from the airport.
Yeah.
In Eau Claire. It was great when they had the air show.
Yeah.
When all the Blue Angels came in, because we don't even need to go. We're just sitting right here, and so I didn't know that little place had a trip there. I thought it was like a regional, like here to the cities, maybe Milwaukee or something.
They used to go use United was there, and we flew to Chicago a couple times out of there. But then United left, and Country came in, and they fly to Florida, Orlando, somewhere else, and now they fly to
And it's
Vegas.
such a small airport. I mean, relative to the Twin Cities, because that's the thing that I hate about flying. Other than the possibility of 37,000 foot drop to the ground. But it's the getting there and parking and walking forever, and then all the through the gate.
Parking is like $6 a day. It's like $26 or $32 a day in Minneapolis. I mean, I parked for the week. I mean, it was
all right. I'm going to Vegas. George and I, we're going to Vegas.
There you go.
Not to gamble. Well, it'd be nice to actually be able to, since we pretty much can't in Wisconsin. But that's crazy. That's actually really cheap. Like everything
The
is so expensive right now.
the
That's
sports
cheap.
books, and you'd love it because you can sit and watch sports. I mean, I watched the baseball playoffs, NFL, just on these sports books inside these casinos. You just sit there in awe at every game was on every TV.
I'm going there every weekend. You had mentioned Fremont Street. I've never heard of that.
It's
What
an old,
is?
it's an old Vegas, and it's all outside, and it's the original Vegas, how I would describe it. Like, and it's the motels are a little cheaper. They're not as fancy. But the Circa, they have a big outdoor pool there, and they have the largest sports television in America. I mean, it's just crazy. And you sit in a pool and watch sports all day. I mean, I didn't do that, but that's what they have there. And then it's people you can rent a circle on the street. You're performers, and you do dances, or you do magic tricks, or you do all this stuff. There's live music playing on each end of Fremont Street. It was crazy. And it's everything's a bar. I mean, the whole length is 3 blocks long, and there's a bar outside everywhere. So
Well, it sounds like small town northwestern Wisconsin.
yeah, yeah. So they have a light show. Yeah, the light show in the sky, and not in the sky, in the overhead thing. So.
Oh, I did see that. So I was in Vegas once. It was for a meeting. This was way back when Blockbuster was still a thing. And I was running Blockbuster. There's a big, like 10,000 store managers and district managers and whatever across the world. We all met in Vegas. And one night we went to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that was. But this, again, that was like 25 years ago.
Right.
Well, that was awesome. What a great trip.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right. So the only other thing that we have written down here, or for our press releases and articles, is it was a news release from the Wisconsin DOJ. The headline is Officer-Involved Critical Incident in Rice Lake, Wisconsin under investigation. For people who didn't see that post on our website or have not seen that, what was that about? From what you can say.
I can't tell you a lot about it, and I don't know a lot about it because we don't investigate our own incidents. There was an incident in the city of Rice Lake. My team of detectives did investigate a stabbing. Rice Lake PD was called to a residence or a building in Rice Lake, an apartment building in Rice Lake, for a stabbing. During the course of their investigation, one of our deputies was arrived with his canine. There was someone in a room. During the course of this, the person came out with an edged weapon. Rice Lake PD officers and Barron County Sheriff's deputy fired their weapons, killing that subject, and DCI was called in to investigate that part of it. That's all I can comment on that end of it. I can comment on the stabbing end of it. There was a person that received some minor injuries from a stabbing. She was treated and released at that scene, and that's what Rice Lake PD was investigating. They can't investigate that part because they were involved in that incident. So our detectives can, but we don't investigate the shooting. DCI comes in. We've had on this show, we've talked about DCI and what they do for us. Interesting. This is the 5-year anniversary of the Kloss case. Was just 2 days ago when, that case first started. And that's where people got to really learn what the DCI and FBI does for Northwest Wisconsin, was during that case.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years ago, we were in the heart of that case. I've watched some old Facebook posts that pop up on your memories, and I think that's what's cool about Facebook, is that people can see their memories, and I think that's interesting. And what we do now, and you always critique yourself and how you can do better, and things like that, and so that's what DCI does for us. And so they handle that, and they'll come out with a report that'll go to our district attorney's office. Our district attorney will tell us if that shoot was justified or not justified, and then our officer will be cleared and we'll return to work.
According to the press release that is brought up here on Dryden Wire, at approximately 5:30, officers from the Rice Lake Police Department in the sheriff's office responded to a 911 call for a female who had been stabbed by a male subject in Rice Lake. Upon arrival, officers encountered a female subject with injuries who has been treated by EMS. Law enforcement then encountered a male subject barricaded in an apartment and gave commands for him to come out, but the subject did not. Police canine and less lethal options were utilized in an attempt to gain compliance from the male subject. The subject subsequently charged at officers with a bladed weapon. Officers discharged their firearms during the incident and struck the male subject. First aid was rendered. However, the male was pronounced deceased at the scene. And yeah, they're on officers, both agencies placed on paid administrative leave per department policy, etc. So that's just another one of those scary moments. I really like to see that. I'm glad they put that in there. And of course, certainly I'm glad that the officers and the deputies did do this. We like, as a public, to always see less lethal options first. Now, sometimes I just don't think you can. I mean, if somebody's just coming at you with a knife, it's, well,
Right.
I get it. But a canine was used. Less lethal options were used, whatever those were, taser stuff. I don't know what it was. It didn't specify. But the fact that they did everything they could, according to the DOJ in the press release, it sounds like, or we could infer that they did as much as they could to try to get this resolved without using more of the, I don't think deadly force is the right term, but, their guns.
Right. That's what it is. I mean, ultimately, and I'm not talking about this case, the good guys are going home at the end of the day. And that's the main goal. That's the biggest fear you have. We've lived it in Barron County. We used to say we hopefully never have to live that. Now we've lived it in Barron County. We've lived it in St. Croix County. We've lived it locally. And it's the jobs of law enforcement. And I appreciate the efforts or the comments about that, about the less lethal options, but it always isn't the option. I mean, we try to do everything we can every second of every day. Ultimately, what happens is we may have to fire our weapons. We may have to do that. And our officers are trained. They do everything they can every second of the day. We don't want to do that. None of the three people that are involved that fired their weapons are, want to be home sitting, waiting for this investigation to be completed.
Yeah.
That's terrible for somebody. So,
and the person charged at them as well. So This wasn't just, that less lethal options didn't work. Still not coming out. Well, let's just go and start shooting. The fact that person charged, and we've talked about this on the show. I remember a long time ago, back when Dad was still sheriff, and we were watching some cop shows or something, and one of the cops, shot, maybe it was a movie, shot someone in the arm, right, to kind of get the, when they were kind of running or something. Well, shoot in the arm, wing them. Right? We see that on movies all the time. Just wing them. And Dad said, you don't do that. He goes, we're trained to shoot, not to kill, to stop. That's our goal. And the best place to shoot, and more likely not to miss, dead center mass. That's what we're trained to do. Can you speak to that a little bit as well? When somebody's charging you, that is still right. You just shoot to stop the threat.
We don't hit them and shoot the gun out of their hand, or their knife out of their hand, or their sword out of their hand, or whatever they have in their hand. Whatever the threat is, we don't shoot that. We can't shoot it off.
Perfect. Renee had just brought that up.
Right. But we don't shoot for the arm. It's hard enough to hit a moving target center mass.
With your nerves have to be going. I mean, your blood pressure, your heart rate. Just saying.
Ask any deer hunter. Every story is like the deer was leaping over a hill, and I only had a split second to shoot it, and he really was eating corn in a deer pile, or deer in a corn pile,
Yeah.
And so, but hitting a moving target is twice as hard, or probably more than twice as hard than hitting somebody that was standing still.
And let's not forget, the deer isn't charging you with a weapon either. Right. So you add that factor in.
Right. So, so we shoot to stop. And we don't shoot to kill. I hope to never kill anybody, but we shoot to stop the threat. Everybody's always given compliance to drop, stop, do whatever. You're always given the chance to not come at us, not do whatever the threat is. It doesn't have to be towards law enforcement. You might have been walking towards, a domestic situation, and you might be standing away from your husband or wife, and one might charge the other. That's a reason to discharge our firearm. Safety of ourselves or safety of others. We have to meet a criterion. It's the force continuum. We are trained in that. That's what we do. So these are very tough situations. I appreciate the support for law enforcement, the support for our deputies and our officers at Rice Lake. Everybody's trained to do their job. These suck. They're terrible. I don't want to do them. But again, at the end of the day, the cops are going home. That's what I want. The cops to go home.
And it sounds like that lady who had originally called, what was it? I can't remember. I just read it that it was a call about that 911 call female who had been stabbed by the male. I assume this individual survived, or I think they probably would put that in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
the female's
So,
fine.
and that's another thing, right? So if you do try, let's say the person has a knife or maybe even a gun, if you try to shoot them in the leg to slow them down, they can still fire the weapon and still throw the knife,
Right.
which could hurt officer or this other person that was there. Right. That's got to be a part of the equation as to why to stop.
100%. Like if you're a football field away from me and you have a knife, I'm not going to shoot you.
Well, right.
But if you're right, but people think that just because you have a knife out, but you're 100 yards away from anybody, that doesn't give us the right to. If I say I'll drop the knife and you don't, I can't shoot you at 100 yards away. But you're 10 yards, you start walking 100 yards, and you get to, it's 21 feet is the number that we like to talk about. It's an estimation. Obviously, we don't get a ruler out and say, if you come one more foot, I get to shoot you.
I get to shoot you. Right.
Well, I mean, it's not like that, but I mean, we get to talk about the realities on this show.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And so, but if you get to that, 20 feet, 30 feet, and you're still moving forward and you're not listening to commands, then we get to ramp the game.
Well, that takes it up a level.
Try some different things. Yeah,
right.
It takes it. We can ask, do some different things, less lethal and some other things. But if the opportunity doesn't provide itself for that, and you continue to do what you need to do, and if you're the only officer on scene, you can't start with less lethal because you have to transition to lethal. You have to go with less lethal. It can only be used if there's two people on scene. Now, in every case, we try to use less lethal, but the first guy on scene has got to have his weapon out, because if you start charging somebody and the taser doesn't work, you got to put your taser down, draw your weapon. That doesn't work. That's not an option. But when there's multiple people on scene, like we had, there's always a less lethal option out there.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep.
About the one officer or deputy.
It depends on the situation.
No, I understand what you mean.
Yeah. But if it's a knife or a gunfight, you can't start. You don't get to go lesser than what they have. You're like, you have a knife out, I'm going to go with my taser. That's not how it works. We don't just have a checklist. It's training. It's expertise. It's why we train. It's why we don't shoot only once a year. We shoot multiple times a year, et cetera, et cetera. We do all of this stuff. We don't just shoot at noon every day. We shoot at night. We shoot in the morning. We shoot with our lights on in the background. We shoot with people yelling in the background, because that's how real life goes.
That's a really good idea.
Calm and peaceful when we shoot our guns. People are screaming and hollering and doing things.
And let's not also forget, we're talking about the adrenaline. A person in those situations, not speaking specifically about this one, don't know, but I'm assuming there are times where an individual with a gun or a knife that is going to be charging at someone, there may be drugs involved, alcohol involved. Their adrenaline's pumping. You shoot it in an arm or something, that may not, like, whatever, don't even feel it. Because they're also, amped up as well. Yeah. Man, I don't know why anybody wants to be a cop.
Well, don't say that out loud, because we're hired. But we teach two things before I get to why hiring. We teach that in our active shooter classes. Just because when we teach active shooter to somebody, just because you get shot doesn't mean you drop like in the movies. You don't even sometimes feel it. When we do active shooter trainings in schools and hospitals and churches, and we shoot our rubber bullets at people, it's a soft airsoft gun, and we shoot and said, how many people were hit? Well, just because you got hit in the arm doesn't mean you fall down. You might not even feel it till you run outside the building. So just because you get shot doesn't mean you drop and die right there. So that's why we shoot to stop. We don't shoot to kill, because if you keep running at us and you're still swinging the baseball bat or the gun or whatever it is at us, then, we continue to pull the trigger on our guns.
Yeah.
Just like if you're involved in an active shooter situation, you keep running until you can't run anymore to get out of the situation. That's what we train people. Just because you're shot doesn't mean you're going down, because people watch too many movies and they think, I'm shot, so I have to go down. Well, that's not what happens in life.
I learned that in Call of Duty. Sometimes I got to pump like 15 rounds into some other guy.
Exactly.
Like, come on, I shot you once. You should go down. And movies are also all over the place on shooting a car. Does it blow up with one shot or doesn't it? Have you ever tried shooting at a car and ever blown up before?
No, I've never done that, so I hope I never have to. So.
Molly has
Molly has a question, and I do see it here. The victims in the case, they'll work with We have a victim witness coordinator for the district attorney's office. They'll get what they need, helpful. No officers hurt. We appreciate that. And DCI will release something, probably 30 plus days. It goes to the district attorney's office. Brian Wright has always had the thing that that's an immediate review and a decision will be made. And obviously, it depends on the complexity of the case. I don't think the complexities of this case draw it to where it's going to take a long time for him to make a decision. But again, I don't know what the evidence is producing. We're not involved in that. We don't even go into the crime scene. Like, our officers were there originally. Like, I never made it into the crime scene. That's not my role. They tagged it off. They put police line up, and we never crossed the police line inside the crime scene. Except the
that's a good lesson for citizens as well. See,
Yeah.
even you don't go into the crime scene.
I didn't. Yeah.
Just stay away. You see the tape?
Yep.
Don't go.
Yeah, that's right. Just like on the movies.
Just
Never
like
cross the
that's what Have you ever heard of Riff Tracks, which is like the new version of Mystery Science Theater 3000, where they watch a movie and kind of make fun of it? We should really do one of these times, like just watch a cop show, and then like half the screen will be the cop show, and you and I will be split on the other side, just saying. I would just love it. Like, nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't do that. No, that's illegal, and that won't hold up in court. And that'd be fun.
Yeah, we can do that sometime. Yeah.
All right. You had mentioned something you put on Facebook. No, hiring. Sorry.
Oh, hiring. Yeah, we are hiring. We're hiring a patrol position. We had a deputy leave us to go to a local police department outside of Barron County, and we have a retirement coming up at the end of the year. So we're hiring 2 patrolmen. We're hiring a dispatcher. I got applications right here in my hand. As soon as we get done here, I'm going to call some people and offer them interviews for dispatch interviews next week. We just filled their jail position. So there's a lot of law enforcement jobs out there.
Including Shell Lake Police Department.
Yeah, Dave Wilson's hiring.
Dave Wilson. Wilson.
So,
is that where your officer left? Went to be a Shell Lake police officer?
No, not in Shell Lake. It was Amory, actually.
They need help. Like, Amory, what a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't get into that. Amory.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they're going to get some things sorted out there.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, there's a lot of positions open in Barron County for law enforcement.
Seems like all over there right now. It really does.
And some of that is what's going on in the world, and that does suck. But I'm still telling people this is the best place to be a cop. Northwest Wisconsin, we have complete support of the community. And if you don't support us, we don't care. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're not perfect in our jobs. I don't mean that. But we have a lot of great support in our community. We do it right. We're very transparent. You've said it 100 times about us. We're very honest with people. Or we train. How many hours in training are done weekly, monthly? Good. We train 24 hours a year. We actually train more than that, but every law enforcement officer in the state of Wisconsin is required to train 24 hours a year in law enforcement tactics, plus a shoot, plus driving skills. But we shoot more than once a year. Some departments only shoot once a year. We shoot more. I think we have 3 shoots, and then we have a shoot, don't shoot scenario. In the winter, we bring in a computer. Our insurance company, Wisconsin County Mutuals, has an insurance or has a program we bring in, and we shoot, don't shoot scenarios where that's a very interactive, like, this is where we want you to make a mistake. When we do train, and like, we have a domestic situation and we go to arrest the husband, and the wife pulls out a knife or she pulls out a phone, and so you've got to tell the difference between a knife and a phone, and a gun and a phone, and a gun and a knife, and do that. And we have less lethal options for that. It's a neat shoot, don't shoot scenario situation. So we train on that once a year. Plus we have multiple shoots. Plus we have other training we do. So it's not monthly we train. Our SWAT team does train monthly. Like, they're training tomorrow. So we're training tomorrow for our SWAT team. So our SWAT team trains 10 months of the year, 8 hours a month. We don't train July, and we don't train December.
And the car one, that's the pit maneuver one, right? Isn't that what we call it, pit maneuver? That's the one that
we're trained in pit. All the deputies in Barron County are trained in pit.
I also am as well, as we've talked about before, because of Grand Theft Auto. I'm really good at that move, man.
Okay. And that's how we do train. Sometimes we just hook up our Xbox and we train. No, we don't train with that.
Yeah, it counts. Come on. And you'd save a lot of money, a lot of gas and everything else.
Right.
All right.
So, but yeah, come and work for us, and that would be great.
Or the Shell Lake Police Department, or Washburn County Jail. They also need people.
Right. So,
Jail and dispatch.
I'm
You know what? They've got to get this jail and dispatch position separated.
I think they are working.
I know they are, and that's going to help them so much. Seriously, I mean, if you're really good at being a jailer, those same skills and attributes that you kind of need to possess to be great at that job and enjoy that job, it's like they're almost the complete opposite of what a dispatcher would be doing. And I don't know. Like, you may really want to be a dispatcher or really want to be a jailer, but I don't know a lot of people that I want to do both.
Right.
That's just so bizarre. So hopefully, I think that's going to help a lot when they do that.
Burnett has that problem. I think Sawyer has that problem. I think Rusk has that problem.
Burnett's going to be going. I think they're splitting when they get that new jail. I think that's going.
I think so. I mean, that's the goal, but it costs money and it costs space.
I know it.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money.
But you also have to look at the recidivism and the you can't keep 100%. People if it's this place I could just be in dispatch. It's not even about the pay if they pay more or not. You just get to do the one job that you do like and not the other job that you don't like. I mean, it's they have to do it, or nobody's going to be taking these jobs, regardless of what the national narrative is or if it's safe. I mean, these are actually controlled environments too. This isn't like you're even out on the streets. I mean, these jobs are really good entry level into law enforcement, and you could stay there your whole career or do some more stuff and then become a deputy or whatever. But I mean, these are great jobs.
100%.
But
it's always 70 degrees and sunny, I say, in the jail and dispatch. You don't have to go out in the cold and warm.
It's my kind of job. I don't have to go outside.
You can bring snacks.
Now, hold on a second. Okay.
Just a minute. You got to take one more bite of my pizza. The other thing we're doing is we're hosting a senior safety seminar with the Rice Lake Police Department on Wednesday, November 8th. I'll send you this so you can post it. But it's at the senior. So we're going to do coffee with a cop at 9 a.m. and at 10 p.m. or 10 p.m. At 9 a.m., we're going to have coffee with the cop. At 10 a.m., we're going to have a presentation and conversation. We're going to talk about scams, what you do when you call 911, drug trends, what happens if you're in a car accident. And obviously, we're doing it at the senior center during the day, but anybody's welcome. And they're even, if you'd like to stay for lunch, it's $5 for lunch.
What? You can't get lunch anywhere for $5.
Right. If you're under 60, they'd like you to pay 10. Because they get some funding, but it's senior safety. Follow us on Facebook. It's Wednesday, November 8th. That's coming up. We want people to make plans. It is the middle of November, so we've got some, fall. Halloween's 2 weeks from today, actually. 2 weeks from today is Halloween, and it'll be November already.
So that's going to be on what is today?
Tuesday.
That's stupid. Tuesday, yeah. So Tuesday night, that's good, right? That's better for law enforcement. Right.
Well, yeah, the weekend will be busy, but
the weekend before or after, you think?
Weekend before. The 28th will be when it is.
Sure.
Yeah. Dirk's been busy with scammers. Lots of scams out there right now. People were saying they were either the Rusk County Sheriff's Department. I think Burnett maybe put something out there. They wanted you to come in and get DNA tests, and if you paid with a gift card, you didn't have to come in. I'm like, oh, we don't accept gift cards. We don't call ahead if you have a warrant. Hey, Ben, this is the sheriff. We're coming to get you. Are you going to be home?
You're going to be home?
We have a warrant. We want to make sure you're home.
It might work. Have you ever tried it?
No, shit. Hey, Ben, you going to be home this afternoon?
I'm at the store right now. I'll be home in 20 minutes. I'll see you in 20.
That's right. What store are you at? So lots of scams out there. So we're going to just we're working with ADRC, the Rice Lake Police Department, and the Rice Lake Senior Center on this. The senior centers need our support also. I did a talk for ADRC up in Shell Lake the other day. They had a regional meeting, and I went up to talk about, just what you should do for these people that deliver Meals on Wheels, one of the most important programs we have in Northwest Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. I just, that 22% of Barron County's population is over age 65, So there's 44,000 people in Barron County. So that's 10,000 people of our 44 are over age 65.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So, and that's growing. And in places like Washburn and Burnett are even a little higher, I think. So the elderly population is very unique. That's why we have less people that want to work, because they're all retiring. We're retirement communities now. We have the lakes and the beauty and and people can travel for the winter and be away now and come back here and have all the luxuries of Northwest Wisconsin, and that's what they like. So, but we have to support our ADRC programs. They're very important. Somebody from ADRC would be they have so many options for people. If you're a caretaker, they have help. If you're over 60 and you're looking for some things to do, AARC is the way to get things done and get involved in the community. And they offer Meals on Wheels. And if you're able to deliver them, they have all these routes. You can take 20 minutes out of your day and change people's lives for 20 minutes, just delivering Meals on Wheels. So it's a unique program, but we're partnering with them on a lot of different things, starting some new partnerships. So
I can't wait till I'm a senior.
Yeah.
Because you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. Like, you don't have to be politically correct. You can drive 45 in the left-hand lane. Don't care. Because you can, right? I can't wait. Be senior. But that's our job. Like the 20
you're
to
politically correct. I just want to make sure you are politically correct now. I just wanted to make sure we were.
I think so. Yeah. I mean,
there's times you're right.
On live shows, I have to be.
Yeah, right.
My personal Facebook page, sometimes maybe not so much, on private conversations. But that's what we're supposed to do, right? Our kids and the senior citizens, those that are coming after us and those who have come before us, that's our jobs to take care of them.
100%.
And everybody goes through that, right? So it's the three stages of your life. And that middle stage was where you and I are in right now. We take care of the kids and the neighbors' kids and our community's kids. It takes a village. We all need to be there for them, and as well as our seniors. These people, what?
And no one's perfect.
Holy cow, the things just they had to go through growing up, and their parents had to go through growing up. Just saying, we've got to show respect to those people, and anything we can do to help them out. Yeah, I'm totally down. So I'm curious, though. You said that like I could just sign up somewhere and actually 20 minutes a day or whatever it is, do some meals or do something. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, 100%. Romaine does it. I mean, Romaine helps with Meals on Wheels. He's a big supporter of the program. I've delivered Meals on Wheels. I try to do it. They do a thing every year on like promoting this. I'm sure Washburn County's got a route they'd give you, and you deliver 10 meals.
What?
You go pick them up at Site A. You deliver 10 meals to people.
10. I was thinking like 1. I'm not like 10. I mean, I respect our seniors, but not 10. Just kidding.
I don't want to take 20 minutes. I get 10. Can I just leave them in their mailbox? No.
Yeah, I am going to actually look into that. I'm not just saying that. That sounds great.
Yeah, ADRC of Washburn County. You can come down here, and we got all kinds of routes you can do. And you can do them once a week. You can do them once a month. They'll take you, you can do the same route to get to know the same people. It's kind of fun.
Oh, wow. If I come down there and do it for them, I want a squad car. I want lights.
I want lights.
Then I can do like 20 of them in 20 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Give me the longest one on the highway.
Look
at Wilson's like, we need help. You absolutely should, Dave Wilson.
So Bem and I could possibly do that. So, all right. All right. So, Dirk, we're about wrapping it up. So if you have a weather forecast for us, hopefully this is like perfect weather. I love it. This is just the greatest weather.
It's cool.
Cold in the morning and nice in the afternoon. Oh, it's just fantastic. Oh, there it is. Forecast. Yeah, you had mentioned earlier, fog burning off, mostly sunny in the 60s, light wind, rain showers tomorrow and Thursday, temps mid-50s. Oh, wow. Weekend warm and lots of sun. High. This could be one of those last weekends. This weekend, I'm focusing on getting the garage finished and all winterized, cleaned.
I did my garage on Sunday and mowed the grass. It was
great.
We
have one more mow to do, so that's what we're doing this weekend. And according to Dirk, it sounds like it's going to be just a great weekend to do it. Oh, and Jody, seriously, that actually sounds like I would enjoy it and I would get something out of it too.
Right.
That's great, man. And look at that. Sometimes you are the only person to see them all day. Oh, my problem is I end up spending the whole day talking to them.
But if everybody on the show did one route once a month, it would solve all of ADRC's problem. Yeah. So it's that easy to make a difference. So
and if everyone just went and signed up for a Dryden Wire Insider, then, every single one did that, then we can get rid of all of those Google ads and we don't have to see any of that stuff. We can hire more people. If everyone just...
And I could deliver more Meals on Wheels.
And I could deliver it. Right. See? Then I would free up my time.
That's right.
Love it. Awesome. Anything else, Fitzy, going on? What do you have coming up this week? I think you already touched on a couple of them, but...
I'm doing a TV show this afternoon. I got a meeting in New Richmond.
TV show? What?
I race at cable. I got to go do race at cable today.
Traitor. All right. What's cable? That doesn't count. What channel is it on?
It's our local Rice Lake Community Access TV. They do all the sports programs and school board meetings, and
Oh, right.
James does a great job there. It's WIA playoffs for volleyball, football. It's that fall season, which is great sports season for your local high school. So good luck to all of our teams. We're all good.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much.
You bet.
Great show as always. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience as locally owned and operated business, provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Give Brian a call today. Number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Fitzy and I are taking a 6-day, 23-hour, and 15-minute break. So until next week, thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.